Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Good morning, everyone. I, Madhur Ghate from SYBBIB. It is my honor to welcome our esteemed guest, Ms. Chitra Jalal ma'am, representing Global Hunt Foundation, Bangalore. Our director, Dr. Bibi Wafare sir, Deputy Directors Professor Akshada Kulkarni and Dr. Mansi Atitkar ma'am, and our Dean of Commerce and Management and Head of Department, Dr. Amol Mane sir. Our event coordinator, Professor Akansha Landge, the presiding officer of Internal Complaints Committee, and all the respected faculty members. Ms. Chitra Jalal is versatile professional with expertise in physiotherapy, nutrition, and kids yoga instructor. With a background in law, she brings a unique perspective to her holistic approach to health and wellness. She has extensive experience conducting antenatal and postnatal workshops in both corporate and clinics, empowering individuals and essential knowledge and techniques for maternal health. Additionally, she is passionate about educating young people on menstrual hygiene. She has conducted many workshops in schools. Her diverse skill set and dedication to promote well-being make her a valuable asset in both healthcare and educational sector. Today, ma'am will discuss topics including physical changes, puberty changes, psychological changes, comparison between reproductive phases of men and women, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. On behalf of MIT Arts, Commerce and Science College, we extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am. Uh, I now invite ma'am to share her insights with us.
Yeah, sure. Okay, students, good morning. So, the entire session is about puberty changes that usually happen in both boys and girls, right? So, it's a boys' session, so we'll focus exclusively focus on what changes that usually boys go through. And apart from that, we'll discuss about a bit changes that even the girl goes through. Maybe there are certain boys who are not aware of it. So, we'll discuss about that also. So, it is very important for us to basically understand what our body is actually going inside our body, right? So if we know our body well, so we can correlate with those changes that usually happen in our body with the symptoms that our body is trying to give us. So maintaining a good physical health is equally important these days, because whatever we eat and how physically active we are, everything depends upon your lifestyle, especially will give a good impact when you actually enter the age of somewhere around 40s or 50s, that it is going to decide the kind of nutrition that you take at this particular age. The more physically active you are at this particular age will decide when you basically enter around 40s or 50s, that is how healthy your lifestyle is going to be, or how healthy your body is going to be. Because you can see nowadays, even in early days of life, especially the school going children and the kids who've just entered the college level, they've started complaining of problems like diabetes, thyroid, and lot many other issues associated, which are related to lifestyle disorders. So that's very important for a child also to maintain a healthy lifestyle, because the kind of food that we're eating is, we all know, it's now being adulterated with so many growth hormones. And the milk that we drink, especially from the cattle, cows and buffaloes, even they are induced with growth hormones. So those directly or indirectly, those hormones and those pesticides that we usually use in these chemicals and everything that we use to treat the vegetables, it's directly or indirectly affecting our immune system also, right? So you would see that there's so many diseases that are not exactly diseases, we would say those that are now and then, every time you would see the kids and even the younger generations, they complaining of so many diseases that usually affected an individual around 40s or 50s. But nowadays, in early 20s or 30s also, the kids, they start complaining of thyroid, diabetes, all these issues, even the school going children. Because when I go for physical classes also, there are many children, not the count is though few right now, but there are children who still complain of problems or issues related to these diabetes or thyroid at this early age. So maintaining a healthy lifestyle is equally important for everyone. It doesn't really matter at what age do you fall in. The criteria to basically keep your body fit should be fit in for everyone, right? So we'll discuss about the changes that usually kids, they generally go through during the puberty phases of life. So puberty is the early phases of life. So right from the beginning of age, 10 years of age till 19, 20, 22, all those changes that happen into your body, through which a girl is transformed into an adult female and a boy is transformed into an adult male. So that is what we say puberty is all about. So puberty is basically those changes that your body is going to see in all through these phases of your life, especially when it's when a girl enters the age of 10 and a boy enters the age of 10 to 12, sorry, 12 to 13, they will start seeing those early changes in life. So now I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. So, students, this entire session is all about the puberty changes that usually a child goes through, right, in the early phases of their life, right? For you, maybe at college level, there could be many of you who would have basically entered this particular phase or would be still going into this particular phase, because we can see that when you are into a college level you might be somewhere around 21, 22, 23 also. So you would have gone through this particular phase, because sometimes what happens, it all depends upon the genetic factors also, who may start seeing those puberty changes in them at a later stage. So they would continue with those changes till the age of 22, 23 also. But generally we expect that a boy may start seeing those changes at the age of 12 years. And if we compare a girl and a boy, the girls, they usually start with an early they'll start seeing those early changes in them at the age of around 10 years. So that is the reason that if in case you would have studied in a co-ed school, so you would have seen that most of the times the girls, they basically start seeing they start seeing a tremendous increase in their heights and weight, right? So this is what happens. Okay, so why do we need to talk about this particular session, or we need to talk about puberty changes? Is because, see, in earlier times, we hardly spoke about the changes that usually girls or the boys they go through during the entire phases of their life. But generally, knowing your body at an early stage and right from the beginning is very important, because the symptoms or the kind of changes that your body shows you would give you will give you an idea about how healthy you are and how your reproductive health is going to be in upcoming years, right? So sometimes what happens, that if you know those changes, psychological changes, especially when a child enters the teenager phase, there are so much of emotional turmoil inside their minds, that they don't understand whom to share those things with, because teenager phase is a very sensitive phase where we expect that the children, they basically tend to explore the outer world on their own, right? And they would want to explore out new things, would try to do something different, right? And sometimes in this particular phase they tend to get involved into activities which they usually did not want to. This is a very sensitive phase where you would even see your parents being quite protective for you. There could be chances that you would want privacy from your parents or from your own siblings also. But at the same time, this particular phase, all because of this emotional turmoil, there are chances, there are times when the kids are so much stressed, they don't know how to handle this particular phase of their life. So that is why we say that if you know those emotional and psychological changes that are going to happen or happening inside your body, so you can very well cope up with those changes that will happen, right? So that is the need that we should keep talking about those changes at an early phase also. And it is basically good, it's good for you to basically have an access to a good appropriate healthcare when you know what is wrong with you, or whatever changes that your body is seeing is normal or abnormal, right? So these are the three phases that usually a child goes through. So you can see that adolescence is the phase from the age of 10 years till 19 years of age. So you would have seen, or there could be many who would still be at the age of 21, 22. So you would have seen that all those physical changes that has to happen in an individual, they completely come to an end, and then finally you develop an intellectual maturity, and you know what is good, what is bad for you. So early adolescence is the phase when a child enters the age of 10 years or 13 years. So why do we say 10? Because in girls the puberty changes starts at 10 years of age, and in boys usually it's a bit late, right? Around 12 or 13 years of age, right? So early adolescence means the early changes that your body is going to see inside you, like in there are a few changes that is common in both boys and girls, like appearance of pimples. Sometimes there are many of you who would notice the appearance of pimples on their face. Then you will start noticing hair growth on your underarms, on your private parts. So these things are common in both boys as well as girls. And there is another change like increase in your height or weight. So these are early signs that your body is trying to show you. So this will happen on these are common in both boys and girls, right? And then if we talk about those early changes, when you enter the age of 14 to 16, usually then we say you are into your teenager phase. So this is when you would see the emotional changes also take up the role, right? It's not only the physical changes that your body would see, there will be certain emotional changes also. So emotional changes in the sense that a child may hold one particular emotion for a longer time. So say give an example, a child may feel happy, the child may feel sad. Sometimes the kids may get irritated by any small things. Even if your parents are trying to tell you something for your own good, you get irritated, or your friends also. It's not that you get irritation from your parents only. It's just because of those mood swings that you don't feel like talking to anyone. You try secluding yourself. So these are few changes that the child may go through, but those changes usually an individual does not get to see it on their own. It's usually the outer the surrounding people surrounding you, like your parents, your family members, or your close friends would see those emotional changes that you're going through, right? So if you know all these changes are happening because of the hormonal changes during the puberty phases, we know at one particular time when you'll end up with the puberty phase, you'll finally see that all those changes, the physical changes, the emotional changes that were taking their own role, has now settled down. So usually teenager phase is the most sensitive phase. We really need to cope up with this phase, because that emotional turmoil sometimes lets the children get into so much stress that they're not able to handle that. So it is equally important that you do not stress yourself, because it's all because of the hormones which will generally settle down. This is the phase when where we see the kids tend to get involved into activities like bullying also, which is not good for them also. And bullying is one way where you try you feel a bit superior to the other person. Why? Because you try to bully that person. And then in a case, sometimes the kids would just want to just to flatter oneself, or just to keep yourself sometimes what happens, you tend to get carried away so much so easily in your early adolescence, especially your teenager phase, that sometimes even if you get involved into activity, you yourself don't know whether it's good for you or whether it's bad for you. So whenever you feel that whenever you have to when you get involved into particular activity, when you have to think twice, that means you need to take an you can always look up to your parents, and you can always discuss things with them. So a personal space with shall be given to you, obviously, I would say, because this is one phase when kids want their own personal space. They would want they want privacy from their parents, from their own siblings. But it is equally important that you have that at least you keep every whatever you do, you keep your parents into loop, so that you can go up to them and discuss about whatever is happening into your life. So there should be a comfortable environment for the kids. I mean, the parents should provide a comfortable environment to the kids, so that they can come up to them and they can discuss everything. And at the same time, it goes for the also that whenever you would want to get involved into certain activities where you think that you should keep your parents into loop, do consider them, because they would always want something good for you, right? So this is the phase when your parents would like to be overprotective for you, because everybody knows that teenager phase generally it's not only the physical changes that are happening into your body, there are various emotional turmoil also that the child goes through. So when you enter the age of 17 to 19 years, so generally when we say when you are into 11 or 12 and you are about to enter your college level, so this is when we say that you start developing intellectual maturity, in the sense you know what is good for you, what is bad for you. So you give an example, when you enter from class 11 to 12, or 12 to college level, so this is when you decide for your careers, or from the subjects that you would want to explore, or the subjects you would like to take for your careers and everything. So that is when you start deciding for yourself. That means you've developed an intellectual maturity where you can decide on your own which all things are good for you, which all things are bad for you. Though your parents will obviously there will be there around to basically guide you, but yes, when it comes to studies, when it comes to career, nowadays even the kids have started taking their important decisions related to career. So this is when, because you say that you've developed an intellectual maturity, now you've become transformed into adults. So basically adulthood is the phase when we say all those physical changes that happen in girls and even in boys, they completely come to an end and you become a matured male, right? And along with that you attain your intellectual maturity also. I mean, you know what is good for you, what is bad for you. So usually at the age of 17 to 19, we expect that the relationship between your parents, family, friends, everything tends to settle down, and now you've transformed into adults. So basically the physical changes that I was talking about in both boys and girls, that you can see it happening into your own body. So there, all those changes include like common changes we've spoken about: pimples on the face. So in your puberty phase, if you start seeing pimples on the face, need not worry much about it. Generally after one point of time, around 22 years of age, you will see those pimples usually fade away on their own. This is all these changes, all those appearance of pimples is happening because of those hormonal changes that happen in both boys and girls. So male usually shows those changes because of testosterone hormones, and in females it's basically because of estrogen and progesterone. Okay, so you will start noticing a rise in your height as well as weight, and hair growth on your sex organs and armpits starts happening in both boys and girls. So girls, usually the changes that girls see in their early phases of their life, right? So they will start noticing development of breast, then they'll start having their first periods, and their ovaries, they start releasing egg. And usually in girls, the hips and the pelvis area, it tends to widen up. This is because for future purposes, if any female would want to bear a baby, so just to accommodate that baby, usually the girls have a wider pelvis and a hip area. So now we'll exclusively focus on the changes that usually boys go through because it's a boys session, right? So generally the changes that usually boys see in their puberty changes are like changes in their voice. So they would see, they will start developing a voice similar to the adult males. It's a deep male voice, right? So all of a sudden at the age of around 12 or 13, whenever the child hits the puberty, because we will not say that there's a specific time that every boy will go through those changes. So variation do happen, it all depends upon, because every individual is different, every body is different. So at what age your puberty changes will start happening, we would not say that it's predefined that has to happen at this particular age. So it's a I mean, it's a time range that is between 12 to 13 years. Generally a boy will start showing those changes in them. So once certain changes, like changes in their voice, so they will start having it depends. I mean, they will start noticing a change in their voice, right? It becomes as though an adult male is speaking. So after one point of time, within a year, you would start noticing that you'll attain a new pitch, which becomes finally then in that particular case, your voice, and in fact your the changes that has happened into your voice will finally settle down, and you'll have a no a low pitch of your own again. So need not worry about those changes that usually happen into your voice. This is basically happening because of the testosterone. So we usually call it testy pops also, right? So your shoulder area starts broadening up. So if you compare a boy and a girl, in boys generally the shoulder area widens up or broadens up, and in girls usually the hip and pelvis area widens up. Then the boys will start noticing appearance of hair growth on their beard area, on their mustache area. So this is also one sign of puberty the child may show. Then gradually you would see, because of the progesterone hormones, the boys will start noticing hair growth slowly, gradually, all over the body, on their hands, on their feet, sorry, on their entire legs, or on their chest area. And sometimes the boys do have hair growth on their back also. So these are the changes usually happen. Then your sperm production also starts, right? So your penis will also start growing big. So this is because all those changes, even the reproductive changes takes place. There is enlargement of testes also. So these are certain changes that usually boys goes through. So apart from that, there are certain times that even the usually the boys go through these changes. So sometimes the boys may even notice frequent episodes of random erections. So if all this is happening, you need not worry about it. It's a normal phenomena that happens in boys. So it is not necessary, if I'm saying that random erections happen, so every boy has to go through that phase. I'm telling you, every individual is different. So there could be chance sometimes, because when especially I'm talking about the ones who've just started off with those puberty changes. So once for the first time when all these things happen, so they don't know how to react. So it is important for the boys to understand that episodes of random erections are quite common, because your body is still trying to adjust with those changes. And since the sperm production has started happening, so because of which random, and your penis also has started developing. So sometimes without a stimulus also, the penis may stand erect. It may become I mean, it would you would feel you it may become erect, and it would you will feel that there have been random episodes of random erections. So this is quite common in boys, right? And along with that, sometimes what happens, there is a condition that is known as wet dreams. So even at night also, sometimes what happens that when your testes, they usually fire up the production of sperms. So at night there could be chances when boys may even feel that there is a lot of sperm production, and a lot of sperm has come out while sleeping. So that is why we call them wet dreams. So because of which you may notice wetness in your underpants. So it's quite common. So it is that too, I would say it all depends upon person to person. There could be many of you who would experience such changes, and there could be many who would not. So if somebody is having wet dreams, or so in that particular case, it is 100% normal, so need not worry much about it. It is also a sign of your growth that is happening into your body. So all these changes usually the boys go through, right? And then apart from that, you'll start noticing your sweat glands also, this become quite active. So you when even you will start noticing that you start sweating a lot. And usually we say your testosterone is responsible for muscle mass also. So once you are hit with puberty, then your muscle will also start growing big. So that is the reason we say, instead of focusing on bigger muscles, the child, or usually in the puberty phase, the kids should focus on stronger muscles. So because no matter how, so in your puberty phase, a person should not go for gymming and gymming basically weightlifting and everything, because it is your muscle mass is going to grow big only when your testosterone hormones are being released into your body. So no matter how hard you try, and especially in your puberty phase, you will not get those big muscles. But yes, you can always focus on stronger muscles. So you can always go out for physical activities where you can do push-ups, chin-ups on your own, normal physical activities. And apart from that, you can even offer any other physical activity, or any particular sport, cycling or badminton, squash, any particular physical activity or sport you would want to, right? So those were those physical changes that we spoken about. Then apart from those physical changes, there are emotional and behavioral changes. As like I've told you, you tend to hold one particular emotion for a long time. There are a lot of mood swings. You tend to become quite conscious about yourself. So this happens in both boys and girls. They become very conscious about themselves, especially about your looks, the kind of dress you wear, your hairstyle. It becomes common. It becomes very important for a child, right? So this is all happening because of the teenager phase, the emotional and the hormonal outbursts, because of which the child becomes too conscious about themselves. So it's a phase that usually happens in everybody's life. So you tend to get over with it, but though it's a phase to enjoy also, right? So sometimes you get involved into activities like bullying, because when you bully the other person, you feel superior to them, right? So it usually happens with people who are basically looking for their own identity. So you should avoid bullying and things, because that's really not good. then you become very emotionally and emotionally sensitive. So this is all because of the hormonal changes that is happening into your body. There is peer pressure also. Peer pressures, when you see that you have pressure all because of the same age groups, right? And it could be related to your educational activities also. So if it's related to your educational activities, then it's okay, because you develop then um, you develop that particular competitive level between your friends from with your same age group, and then you tend to develop good you tend to perform good in your educational activities or in your subjects. But if in case your peer pressure is all because of some other things, that if your friend is good in one particular thing or he's good looking, in that particular case developing peer pressure doesn't make any sense, because every individual is different, right? So usually peer pressure is when you start thinking about what the other person will think about you if you do one particular thing. That means if you are getting involved into certain thing where you would want to do a particular thing only when if you feel that the other person will feel good about it, that is when we say you are into peer pressures. So this is a phase that usually every individual goes through, but it's all up to you how do you handle things. And nowadays it's your social media has a lot of influence also. See, we all know that even at school levels, if there are childs who are so much into physically, they are so much active in social media. So you all at college level, I'm sure everybody would have an Insta ID or Facebook ID, whatever IDs that you create. But getting yourself or just to pretend yourself in front of the others, right? To basically, uh, your screen time is important, because nowadays we know that usually social media is it's everywhere. So the idea is, we have everything is into electronic devices, right? Your TV, your mobiles, your laptops. Technology has taken up equally. It's important for a child to understand that technology is important, but at the same time it is important that you limit your would you say hours where you just get involved into all these electronic devices. Because see, uh, getting into these activities or social media, we all know this is a way to interact with people. Usually in earlier times um, there were no such platforms where you could basically talk with your closed ones, your family members. So nowadays, connectivity or the mode of communication has become quite easier for everyone. In this way, it's a good thing. But at the same time, the way you use your social media is equally important, right? So it's you need to be really careful when you are there into social media platform, that you do not fall prey of cyberbullying. So we all know at college level you might be aware of what cyberbullying is all about. That is when you tend to chat with somebody who's unknown to you. So because anybody can pretend being someone, especially on social media, especially when you know that you are not able to see each other. So it's very important that the person you talk to is not basically talking to you just to extract money from you. So this is sometimes when kids get involved into cyberbullying, finally they end up that is because there are a lot many hackers available nowadays. There are so much of hackers who usually they track the IDs of so many people, and finally they end up getting into the cyber frauds. And there are a lot many marketing gimmicks these days, especially for games and everything, where directly or indirectly money is extracted from people. So when I mean, the idea is whenever you are into social media platform, you play safe, never share your passwords, or keep your PC well protected with good passwords, stronger passwords. And plus, you should always limit your usage of electronic devices. I mean, you should use not more than 2 hours of entire electronic devices in your day, so that it does not affect your physical activity or your mental health. Because nowadays, what is happening, we are so much into electronic devices that we have lesser time for our physical activity. So even if we compare like a school going child, if we give them an option of watching a movie on a laptop, TV, or anywhere else, rather than I mean, if given two that is options to them, or playing outside, there are kids there they who prefer watching TV to going outside and play, right? So it is a very important that for everyone, even a school going child, or somebody who's entered the age of 30s 20s, that you have 45 to 1 hour of physical activity daily in your routine. Because nowadays we are so much into sedentary lifestyle, there is very less physical activity that is being seen in a person's life. So the diseases that usually bothered people at the age of 40s or 50s are now, basically the kids are falling prey of those particular diseases at an early age. So it's not a good sign nowadays, especially in India. The child obesity has become so common that usually, in earlier times it was not so. So because of those eating habits that we've curtailed, those pizzas, burgers, cold drinks, and everything. So the idea is being physically active and keeping your mind relaxed is very important. So when you are so much into electronic devices, we really don't realize it is basically affecting your mental health also. So there could be chances that if the kid has I mean, if the kids develop usually a habit of seeing mobiles, TV, or laptop right before they actually go to sleep, so in that particular case it causes sleep disturbances also, because of which a child may have mental health issues. So you don't realize it now, but gradually, slowly it is affecting your brains also. So at least 2 hours before going to sleep, you should not use any particular electronic devices. Keep it away from you if you really want a healthy lifestyle. Because we don't realize it now, but if you are into a habit of doing your that is seeing those reels, your YouTubes and everything before going to sleep, you don't realize it, but yes, in due time it will start impacting your sleeping patterns. Then you have start having episodes of sleeping disturbances, and finally it leads to mental health issues. So always limit your usage of electronic devices, and the kind of I mean content that you use or you see in social media. So if you have, we know that technology is available, the way we use it is really important for us. Okay, so you all being at college level, you are smart enough to basically differentiate between what is good and what is bad for you, right? So reproductive phases in men usually start beginning or start to happen at the age of 12 years, and your penis and your male reproductive organs, they tend to develop. We all know testosterone is responsible for muscle mass also, and body hair growth, because of which the boys, they start noticing a growth of muscles as well as hair in the entire body. Then you will start seeing, even if when a person enters their old age also, there the changes keep happening in your reproductive phase, and there are no periods happen. That is, the girls, the boys do not have periods. So usually menstruation is basically in common terms we call them periods. That usually it's a sign of puberty changes in girls, where you would see that the girls usually bleed from their vaginal area, from their private area, right? So it happens for around 3 to 7 days. It depends upon girls to girls, and every month they have their periods. So usually girl at the age of 18 to 15 years, in between this particular age, they will start experiencing periods, right? So this happens in girls, there is no menstruation in boys. So this is also one of the puberty changes that usually girl goes through, right? Girls go through. Then maintaining a healthy lifestyle is equally important for both boys as well as girls. So usually we say that you should have a combination that is similar to the tricolor in your flag, like orange, like the orange color usually represents your fruits, right? Because it is usually you would see that most of the fruits, they are usually they are yellowish or orangish in shade, especially when the fruits they ripen up, they grow up to this color, right? So usually your fruit intakes should be good enough. At least there should be two exchange of fruits in a day. If not two, then at least one fruit in a day is should be taken up, because fruit has vitamins into it. The source of vitamin usually we get from your fruit intake. So any sort of fruit that you feel like or you feel good enough for you can take. Depends upon your likes and dislikes also. But citrus fruits are really good for you because they're good in vitamin C, and it is good for your immune system. So because of which we can see there's so many viruses, there's so many every now and then when there is change in the weather, you would see people complaining of cough, cold, flu. So to get rid of it, or to so that you do not develop those symptoms as early as generally nowadays the immunity levels have also gone down. So for them, citrus fruit is really good for them. And then you can always involve dairy products in your life, which may basically in form of milk, curd, buttermilk, your cheese, all these things. Green leafy vegetables should be focused upon. So why do we usually say green leafy vegetables and plus something which is seasonal? Everything that you eat should be seasonal. So why do we focus on seasonal fruits? Because we know that this is the season, and whenever a fruit is available off seasons, that means it has been treated with lot many chemicals to be basically in that particular shape or particularly so that is the reason we say that you should always eat fresh fruits, because there are less chances that there could be adulteration in them. Because sometimes what happens, the when you eat certain fruits that are off season, they are being stored in various cold storages or wherever the storage is possible, and then you eat them. So prefer eating seasonal things, because the chances of adulteration becomes less. And adequate amount of water is very important, at least 10 to 11 glasses, or if not at least 8 to 10 glasses a day is a good amount of water intake that you can take, right? And for it's for both boys and girls. Whenever you go to school, college, it's good if you do not skip your breakfast, because when you skip your breakfast, we all know that your food is the only source of energy, right? So early morning, when you go to school, colleges, your brain also requires energy to study and everything. When you know that, then in that particular case it is good that you are going, not skipping your breakfast and going to school or college. It's for the teachers also, you should eat well and then go to colleges. Then for students especially, usually tea, coffee should be avoided, right? Because usually we say caffeine intake because you tend to get addicted to it. If in case one starts drinking tea, coffee every day, the one day you don't drink it, then you feel uneasy. So the idea is rather than going through those particular phase, it's better if you just avoid it from the very beginning itself. So eating junk food should be limited, because we cannot say that just stop eating junk, because the idea is everybody is into a habit of somewhere or the once in a week people do eat junk. So the idea is junk is all because it is all processed, right? It is refined, something which is refined. I mean, it has been gone through a lot of processes. So that is, we say, I mean, if you talk about pizzas and burgers, their base is basically made up of refined flour that we usually call maida. So eating that would not usually we will not say that eating it, because it is also made up of a flour only, but yes, it is refined to such an extent that it takes time to digest in your body. So if you eat anything, whatever junk you are eating, if you want to make it healthy, you can always add on fibers to it. So you can add on a lot of vegetables to whatever you eat, so that will add on fiber to it. So it's not going to I mean, it will not uh, affect much to your body, and will not give a negative impact. So whenever you eat junk, you can always add on something which has you can always take something with it which has fiber into it. But yes, you can always limit your intake of junk food, that especially the burgers. And generally what happens, it's not only, it's not because of junk, but sometimes your combinations with it, like drinking cold drinks, makes it worse. So we feel that cold drink is really some, most of the times the kids are so much into drinking cold drinks, but it usually, if you think, it's nothing but it's all add-on sugars that we are drinking. So it is bad for your entire health. So all these cold drinks and everything, whatever drinks are available into the market these days. So whichever thing, if you talk about juices also, they have additional sugar into it that may impact your health in later stages of life. So all these problems of diabetes and everything, because it's not only add on sugars, there's so many preservatives, there's so many chemicals to keep it fresh for you, so you should avoid drinking it. So you can always replace it by fresh lime water. You can make it at home also, so it's a quite preferable. So rather than drinking cold drinks and everything, even if you go for dinner out in the restaurants, there are fresh drinks always available. You can always prefer drinking that if you are so much into habit of taking something liquid along with your diet. So you can always replace it with fresh lime water, right? So there are always healthier options for you. So I may not say that you completely give up to the you completely give up the junk foods, because once in a while it's okay, but the idea is you can always add on fibers to it, or you can always make it more healthier option as per your requirement. Okay, so hydrate yourself, eat a good you should always hydrate yourself, right? So these are the good changes that you can bring about in your in day-to-day lives. So this was the end of the session. Would like to end up with a positive note of uh, sustainable developmental goals. So it's basically related to environment. So you might have heard that the way you can on your individual level help the planet to make it more safe and good to basically live. So there's small little changes that you can do it at your end. So these are certain changes which we all know, that saving water or fixing a dripping tap. You can always segregate waste. You can always skip using plastics, switch off the lights whenever not in use. So one more small little thing that you can do at your end is like whenever it's a birthday of your closed ones or somebody who's quite close to you, anniversaries, because nowadays we everybody is into a habit of celebrating small little occasions, right, in life. So you can always gift them small seedlings, or you can always give them seeds or small plants so that they can grow them into their house. So whenever they see it, they will obviously remind you of that is going to remind you of the one who gifted them. And that's good for you also, and that's good for them also, because you are gifting them something, a new life for them. All right, because a plant itself has a life, so it's a good thing that you can give them, and it's good for you and also good for your environment also. So if we say, give an example, if you have 10 family members, and in a year we know everybody has a birthday, there could be many who would have their anniversaries falling into their same year. So there could be at least 13 to 14 occasions in a individual family's life who have 10 members. So you see in a year you can plant so many seedlings, so many trees and everything. So it's a good initiative that you can take at your end. Okay, so this was the end of the session. If any of you have any queries related to this, you can ask me.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your invaluable insights with us today. Your expertise has provided us with a deeper understanding of physical, psychological changes in reproductive health, as well as the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. It was a great session, ma'am. We truly appreciate the time and effort you dedicated to this lecture. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enlightening guest lecture. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Ms. Chitra ma'am, for taking the time to join us today. Your continued involvement with our institution is deeply appreciated. We are also grateful to our director, Dr. Bibi Wafare sir, our deputy directors, Professor Akshada Kulkarni and Dr. Mansi Titkar ma'am, and the Dean of Commerce and Management and Head of Department, Dr. Amol Mane sir, for the support and guidance. A special thanks to our coordinator and ICC officer, Professor Akansha Landge ma'am, for making this event possible. Lastly, I express my deepest gratitude to everyone present here today. Your time, knowledge, and participation have made this event a meaningful and a memorable. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.